or me a question, or if you just want to talk about whatever's on your mind today, our number here is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. And I think we'll get started today. Dan, I have a question for you to kind of get us rolling here. And I thought what we would do is kind of maybe tell folks some of the things that you can do for them. I know that oftentimes people might have just a simple repair, like that happened when we were just waiting to come into the studio. Actually, the owner of the station here has a tile repair he needs to have done and was visiting with you about it. So what are some of the repairs and stuff that you're able to do for folks here in the Ozarks?
Well, we kind of describe ourselves more by what we don't do. One of the things we don't do is we don't do air conditioning. We don't.
That's good because we do that, Dan.
Yeah, I know that. We don't bend metal. We don't, dig trenches and stuff like that. We're interested in doing the little jobs that you really can't find somebody to do, or the little jobs that the other guys go, well, that's just too little for us. The way the company got started years ago, my mom was always calling me up, asking me to come home and do this little job, come home and do that little job, and all these things, because she was having troubles finding people to do it. And I'm like, well, maybe there's a need for that. So I started my company, and you want a light fixture replaced, we'll come replace a light fixture for you. You want to put a new knobs on your doors, or you bought a new house and you just want to touch it up a little bit or something like that, we'll come in and we'll do part of the work. We'll work with you. If you're comfortable doing this, we'll do that. Just little things. We don't do renovations. We don't do additions. We try to keep it, jobs that we can do in a half a day or a full day's work and get in and get out pretty quick, and kind of be a one-stop shop. We can, fix an outlet for you. We can change the light for you. We can put in a faucet for you. So you don't have to call 14 different people to get the work done.
And a lot of times, just living in your home over time, you'll have little things that happen that need to be fixed or repaired or something. And like you said, oftentimes when you have something small like that maybe just takes an hour or 2 hours or half a day or something, some of the bigger companies really don't want to do that. There's just, they're into the bigger jobs or the additions or what have you. So, and it is kind of hard to find someone to come out and do something small like that. And on this show, we always promote keeping your house maintained. If you have something small, go ahead and fix it then. It keeps it from being a more expensive project later on. And so if you can find someone that you can trust and depend on to kind of help you with the maintenance like that, then I always think that's a positive thing, because it's easier to fix something small than to wait for it to become a big problem. And then it's a lot more money.
Well, yeah, and it's a lot more complicated, and now the pipe broke and the floor got wet and the carpet got wet, and you just have a lot more work to take care of it and do it, where if it would have been small, we could have handled it, got in, got out. Everybody's life would have been a lot happier. So.
Have it taken care of. You do stuff, you talk about some of the things you do inside the home. There's some things that you do that you can do for folks outside the home as well, correct?
Sure. I have a big utility trailer, a dump trailer, if you want us to bring in a little, try to get delivered just a small amount of rock for your driveway, or if you're going to landscape something and they got to bring in a big truck. That old big truck costs a lot of money. Well,
sure.
We've got a small trailer, and it's hydraulic. We'll go down to the quarry, get you a ton of rock or whatever, and bring it over, deliver it for you. You want some other things on the outside fixed up or cleaned up, we'll come in, we'll clean up your yard, get rid of the brush pile out back, put some wire down around the shed so the critters aren't underneath there for you. Or if you want to, we'll bring the trailer over and park it, and you can load it up and we'll haul it off to the dump for you. So you can save yourself a couple bucks if you've got some kids in the neighborhood or grandkids or people around that'll help you. We'll just park the trailer, call us when it's full, and we'll take it out to the dump for you.
There you go. And you're talking about going and getting a ton of rock. That kind of sounds like a lot, but that's really not that much rock. It doesn't take that much for a ton. But so if you were going to do like some sort of small landscaping area, instead of going and buying this stuff in bags, mm-hmm. which can be very costly, and it always amazes me. You have this small area and you think, well, this won't take much, until you start trying to fill it up. And I'm always amazed how much stuff it takes to fill up like a small hole, or if you're going to do a small garden, how much it's going to take either mulch or rock, or it's always way more than I anticipate. So if you can actually get something like that and you don't have to buy a whole truckload, then that would be an economical way to do that. Plus, like you said, you can have it hauled out, you can have it dumped. I think that's a great idea. A lot of people do landscaping and things around their house this time of year. I don't know about landscaping this time of year. It's too hot. I think it would just burn everything up. I'm not sure. But, well, we have a caller on the phone. We have Gloria here in Springfield. Good morning, Gloria.
Yeah, this is Gloria.
Yes, ma'am. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Dan.
Hi.
Hey, you do small jobs, and you said you bring gravel and this and that. I want your phone number.
Okay. Go
Yep.
ahead and give your phone number, Dan.
Yeah, I'm local. My number is 417-380-3161.
Okay, 38 what?
380-3161.
3161?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, 417. So where are you located at?
I actually live out in the Billings area, but I
Okay.
I lived in Nebraska for a long time and South Dakota for a long time. So pretty much, if it's 100 miles or less, that's local for us. So
Well, I live here in Springfield.
Yeah, Springfield's not a problem. We go down to Ozark. Actually, Saturday I'm doing a job for a guy down in Lampe, so we get around.
Well, Dan, do you give estimates?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
Okay, thank you. I'll be calling you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gloria. So there you go.
There
you
we
already
go.
have an odd job. I know there's a lot of people out there that have just little odd things around the home that need to be done. So what do you find, what is the most common thing that you have people ask you to do?
Probably the biggest thing is little electrical things. People don't want to, deal with electricity. So replace a light fixture, replace an outlet in like kitchens and living rooms, where, especially the ones where, my vacuum just won't stay plugged in. No matter how I bend the little prongs, it just won't stay plugged in. Well, the outlets just wore out. So we do a lot of that. Today, after I get done with the show here, I'm going to go down, and a guy has an electronic fireplace that mounts on the wall, and we're going to put that in for him, and then we're going to put in a wall mount for his TV above that. So we get quite a bit of stuff, but a lot of it is usually just little utility type work, lights, doorknobs, the doors sticking, the house settled a little bit, or it warped a little bit, or they painted it a little bit too much and it got thick and sticky at one end. So that type of thing.
So do you do painting as well?
We do some painting.
Some painting?
Yeah. We don't want to paint your whole house. You're better off getting a guy that paints all day, every day, to do that. We're more geared up to just literally do the smaller jobs, a little of this, a little of that. If we paint, like one of the other common things we do a fair amount of sheetrock work. We've scraped some ceilings and gotten rid of popcorn ceilings for some people when they were doing some things. Everybody's had the kid that had to slam the door and make sure you knew they slammed the door and punched the doorknob through the wall, and we'll come back in and fix that. And when we fix stuff like that, one of the things we're not going to just put a patch where the doorknob hole was. We're going to open that door up, or that wall up. We're going to put a board in behind there that goes from stud to stud, and then we're going to put drywall back over the top of it. Doesn't really cost that much more to go in there, open it up 14 inches instead of 6 inches, but I guarantee you they will not punch a hole through that again after we get done with it. So
you don't just repair it, you fix it so that damage won't happen again. That's one of the things, we do see that in a lot of, that is a frequent occurrence, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Is having the door poke a hole in the sheetrock, like in a bedroom or something like that, where maybe they're constantly going in and out, or they're pushing the door too hard against the wall or something. Or I've even seen where they're just dimpled in. Doesn't really make a hole, but it puts that little dimple in your sheetrock where the doorknob hits. So if you have one of those at your house, you might need to take Dan's phone number down, because he's going to fix that for you. And that's something that's just an annoyance. That's just a little project that most people don't want to mess with. And but to have someone come out and just take care of that, and then to fix it so that it's not going to happen again, I think is really important. That way you don't have to fix it over and over and over again.
Right.
So that's something you don't want to have to do, is continually fix the same problem over and over. So Well, we doing okay on time? Yes, we are. Felt like we got started a little bit late, so I'm kind of trying to watch the time here. Sometimes I overrun our break, and then I get in trouble. But now, you were talking about you go through different areas and stuff, and if someone were to maybe purchase a home that they want to use, do you do stuff for people that have like rental properties? Do you work with rental people very much, or with real estate investors that maybe have rental homes and just have little things that need to be done as people move in and out? Have you ever worked with people like that?
Got a couple customers that are actually real estate investors or own rental property, and we just we replaced a water heater for a guy in one of his properties, and then another property, the garage door opener wasn't going up and down right, and the little sensors were off. We do that. Another customers or group of customers that we have that we do a fair amount of work for are realtors and the people that do the home inspections when people buy new homes. So people buy a house and they need somebody that can fix this and fix that and fix something else. It works pretty nice because we can come out and we can take care of a wide variety of things. One of the things that I pride myself on with the company is we try to come and we try to get it done in one shot. It's expensive for us. It's expensive for everybody if we got to run to the hardware store and pick up this or pick up that. When we come in, I've got a 22-foot trailer. That's the toolbox. And literally we can go from doing some electrical, easy repairs, basic repairs. I mean, we're not going to rewire your whole house for you. That's
Sure.
for the electrician.
Sure.
But, basic electrical repairs, basic plumbing repairs, you need a cabinet door cut. It's all in there, and that saves you time, it saves me expense, and everybody benefits from it. So we're pretty efficient. For the most part, it's usually me and one other guy, but if I need more help, I know who to call. And one of my big pet peeves are cell phones. If you're on my job, your cell phone better be in the car.
Sure, you're supposed to be working.
Yeah, you're supposed to be working, and the customers are paying, and and sometimes it causes me a little bit of headache because my cell phone's in the car. So if the lady called in, she's going to get my voicemail, and as soon as I get to a spot where I can stop, or I take a little bit of a break, but you'll probably get my voicemail more times than not because I'm not working for you if I'm on the phone all day. It's
Sure.
kind of a bad example for the guys. So
Sure.
We try to do that and be efficient.
So when you're working, you're working.
Absolutely. When we're there, we're working.
Well, that's good. And we have another caller. We have Vern from Fremont Hills. Good morning, Vern.
Good morning. Hey, I got a question about my heating, my AC unit.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, me and my brother the other day, we were sitting down, my brother Peter, we were having a salami sandwich sitting there, and I noticed my AC unit was just running and running.
Uh-huh.
And it's a big old piece of junk, and it's a Johnson model. It's an old unit.
That is an old unit. Uh-huh.
Okay. And what can cause a unit to just run like that?
Well, it's 100 degrees outside for one thing, Vern. And so when we have this hot weather like we've been having, and we've had some days where we've had some pretty high humidity, and especially if you have an older model like that, it's probably toward the end of its life cycle. It's probably struggling to keep going and keep up. So it's going to run a long time or pretty much nonstop right now to try and keep you cooled down.
Okay.
That's
Something
really
like
not
that.
Uncommon.
Like an older, model like Johnson, do you think I should, maybe upgrade the unit, or is it just a piece of junk, the unit?
It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Anything that you put in right now is going to be way more efficient than what you're using, so it's going to cost you a lot less to operate. It's just one of those things that it's just your personal call. We do have some people that wait until it completely dies before they replace it, or we have some people, some of our clients just want to have something that's more efficient to operate, that costs less on the utilities. And so we change out equipment, as little as 10 years old if a client wants to do that to save money and have something more efficient. So, but right now for yours to run all the time, that's not uncommon. We're hearing that quite a bit.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. That's what I told my brother Peter. I said, this is an old unit, and I said, this it's just a piece of junk, that big old unit. So I'll let you go, but I appreciate your help with my AC unit.
Okay, Vern. Well, thanks for calling. I hope you stay cool today.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. That's something we are getting a lot of. We have people calling, and it's just running and running and running. And, we're not used to these long extended periods of this real hot weather. And so, and I know I've talked about this a lot on the show. We've talked about it on Morning Line and different things, but air conditioning is designed to take the humidity out of the air. So when we have really hot days and it's humid and high humidity, that's what they're doing, is they're working to keep that humidity pulled out of your home. So, it's not uncommon for them to run longer right now than what you might think is normal. So if it's keeping you cool, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, if it's not keeping you cool and we're having a lot of those issues, then you probably need to do something about it pretty quickly, because you're going to heat up really fast. And from what I can tell, I think the long-term forecast is more the same. So
it always helps in the evening to pull the shades down that side of the house too.
It does.
To keep the so sun won't shine out and makes it hotter in the house.
That's what we do in our bedrooms and stuff. Even in our bedroom that we use, I just keep the shade pulled. I mean, there's no reason to have sunlight coming through there. We're not there during the day. We just pull the shades and block some of that sun, so it's not heating everything up inside. So that's something that someone might want to do too. If you've got some rooms you're not needing the sun to come through so you can see, just shut the shades or pull the curtains or whatever, and that will help with that heat load too. So we want to just put that out there. If anyone has any more questions, please give us a call today. We'll be happy to help you. Once again, our number is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. And we have another caller. We have Alan. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. You're talking about units running all the time. Is it common for a new unit that was put in last year to run all day long?
The newer units are designed to run longer. The reason they do that, Alan, is because it costs less to keep your unit running nonstop than it is to shut it off and on. When one shuts off and on, that's when you're going to use the most energy, is when it's trying to kick that compressor and start it up again. And in the future, what we've been told in the industry is that as they come up with more new products and more technology, that they will be set up so that the units run nonstop, and once you turn it on, it will never shut off. And that's because it's more efficient.
Well, I have my thermostat at 78, and the house itself won't get below 80 to 81.
Then you have an issue somewhere, Alan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you probably need to have someone come out and look at it. You say you have a newer unit?
Yeah. Matter of fact, you installed it.
Then we might need to come see what's going on. Have you changed your filters in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a filter in the cold air return. I cleaned it all up and everything.
Okay.
It won't shut off till late at night.
Right.
And when it comes on the first thing, after it comes on the first time, during the morning, it runs constantly all day. And at night, it is always 80 to 81 degrees with it set at 78.
Then you probably need to call the office. If you don't have that number, it's 831-4036.
I've got it at home.
Okay.
I'm driving right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I'll give you a call when I get home.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Then we'll come out and see what's going on with that for you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Alan. And we have caller Gus here from Springfield. Good morning, Gus.
Yeah. Mary, there's a gentleman called a little bit ago about his air conditioner running and running, and I might give him a comment, and you could add to it, too, is I have rental property, and we had a house we remodeled about 8 years ago, and I never gave it a thought at all, but the renter was telling me about the air conditioner was running and running and running, and he's had some experience with refrigeration and air conditioning, and he went out there and found out that the fins were just full of grass and dirt and crud and stuff like that. And I never gave it a thought to hose it out and clean it out and stuff like that. So a lot of people might be using their air conditioner for time and time and not having it hosed out for the fins and stuff like that. So you might add to that a little bit, but at this time of the year, it's very important to keep those fins cleaned out.
That you're absolutely right, and that's why we recommend people do regular maintenance on them. And something else that we remind people of when you're out there mowing. I don't know how much mowing is being done this year because the grass doesn't seem to be doing real well. But a lot of times people don't think about when they're mowing around their units, they're throwing that grass into the unit, and you don't want to do that. You want to mow away from it so that you're not throwing grass and debris and stuff inside the coils and stuff there. So a lot of times. Just coming out and having someone come out and do a professional cleaning and some maintenance and stuff on it will make a difference as well.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. And if nothing else, they can take their garden hose and run it into those fins periodically,
and wash
particularly
it
if
out.
they can get in from the inside out.
Yeah, they want to be careful. That's right, and we do have some homeowners who do that. You want to be careful, though, that you don't use a lot of high pressure on the outside of those fins with your hose. But yes, you can take a water hose and wash that out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that does help some.
Make a remark on today.
Okay, thanks, Gus. We have to take a break. You've been listening to Home Repairs and Solutions. We'll be right back at you.
It's here and it's hot. Thompson's sizzling summer sell down. The Thompson boys are dealing with red hot prices on every pre-owned vehicle in stock. Shop over 200 used cars and trucks, including 65 GM certified pre-owned vehicles like an 09 Chevy Impala. Now just $13,695 or $210 a month with zero down. Or take advantage of 1.9% APR on select models. No worries. Temperatures may be rising, but the prices are falling during the big sizzling summer sell down. On now at Thompson Sales in Springfield or online at thompsonsales.com.
Got a car or truck you no longer need or want? Thompson's will buy it. We need good, clean, pre-owned vehicles and are offering top market value for yours. You don't even need to trade it in. We'll pay you cash on the spot. So why wait? Bring that vehicle you no longer need or want to Thompson's today.
ThompsonSales.com is open 24/7. Shop hundreds of vehicles. Build a car. Set a service appointment. Or check out our vehicle specials online at ThompsonSales.com. That's ThompsonSales.com.
Stock number 114-152B with approved credit. See ThompsonSales.com for complete details.
Hey, it's Niecy Nash, taking a break from my new TV Land sitcom, The Soul Man, to talk to all you moms out there. My character, Lolly, is a mom too, and she's pretty fierce when it comes to protecting her family. But all moms need to remember to take care of themselves too, especially when it comes to heart disease. It's the #1 killer of women, but you can reduce your risk through healthy diet and exercise. So spread the word and take care of yourself. Find out more at GoRedForWomen.org.
Casey's presents Famous People on Famous Pizza.
I'm Jim Dorr, the only guy in Scott County to ever bowl a perfect game. You can't be perfect on an empty stomach. That's why I love Casey's Pizza. They use fresh meats, vegetables, and handmade dough so every pie is hot and delicious. Just like my backswing.
Casey's, famous for pizza. Order one today and see what everybody's talking about. Right now, get a large pepperoni pizza for just $10. Not valid with any other offer.
Hi, I'm Todd Thomas.
And I'm Isabel Walker with Eagle Management and Realty One. We invite you to listen to our program, Today's Real Estate Market.
Well, Isabel, on our last 3 programs, we spoke about home retention, short sales, and what to expect as a home buyer. What do we have lined up for our next discussion?
On our next program, we will be discussing the process of listing your home for sale. As always, we welcome your calls.
So join us at 10 a.m. July 24th right here on KWTO 560 for Today's Real Estate Market.
Sunshine and patchy clouds and hot again today, the high 98. Clear skies tonight, low 71. Mostly sunny and hot both tomorrow and Sunday, the high tomorrow 98. Sunday's high 99. Monday, as you head back to work, it will be sunny, hot, and humid. Highs into the triple digits with a high 101. Sunny, hot, and humid again for your Tuesday. Tuesday's high again, 101. Sunny for your Wednesday, near record heat. Wednesday's high again, 101. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
And the present temperature reading is up to 91 degrees.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And welcome back to Home Repairs and Solutions with Mark and Mary generally, but Mary is here today, Mary Pearson, and brought to you by Spring Mountain Heating and Air, your local Amana dealer. And Mary, we're back with the second half, and hopefully, maybe very soon, Mark will be back with you.
I hope so. Next Friday's the last Friday this month, I believe. Is that correct? I think it is.
I think so.
And he said he might be back then. If not, then
yes,
hopefully, the first Friday in August. But hope to have him back with us on here real soon. And I have an announcement I want to let everyone know about. I've been working on a little project for a while, and we just got it finished. And if you go to Spring Mountain Air's website, which is www.springmountainair.com, you will find a tab that says Mary's List. And so we have created a listing of all of the professionals that we've had on the Home Repairs and Solutions show. So it's a one place that everyone can go if you want to know who we had on the show, or if you're needing something done and say maybe in September or something you need Dan to come and do a project for you and you can't remember exactly how to get a hold of him or what his name was or his company, then you can go on our website, go to Mary's List, and Dan will be listed there. And also underneath all of the professionals we've had on the show is the recording of their show. So it's really cool, and you can click through. If they have a website, it will take you to their website. It will give you their address, their phone number. It even gives you a map and can locate them on the map. So it's something I've been working on for a little while and with my computer tech, and we got that all up and running and got it all installed and up this week. So kind of a fun place to go. So when you're looking for someone that you need something done around the house, think about Mary's List.
Okay, now tell us the website again.
It's www.springmountainair.com.
And click on the Mary's List. The reason I said that, but occasionally, a few days after you're here on Friday, somebody will call in, wonder what the guy is, how I can get in touch with the guy, and I don't know, but now we find out.
And we get those calls at our office as well. Someone will call our office and say, okay, who was that painter, or who was that electrician, or who was... And so we were thinking, okay, what's the best way for us to keep the information out there that's easy for the public to access? And so we came up with the Mary's List idea. And so I'm really excited about that. It's been quite a bit of work, but we've got it up and going. And then we also have a tab on there that says radio shows. And so I keep the last 4 shows under that tab. So if you want to go to the most current or the most current month worth of shows, you can find them there. Or you can go to Mary's List and find everybody that's been on the show. So kind of a fun project to put together, and I'm excited about it, and I hope that it's useful for all of our listeners out there. So, and if you have any questions about that, you can always give us a call, and I can help you find it. But that was something that I'm real proud of that we've been working on. So wanted to let folks know that's available. Very good. But today we are back here. We're with Dan Siebenborn of Dan's Odd Jobs. And Dan, why don't you give out your contact number again in case someone missed it last time and wants to write that down?
Yeah, if you'd like to get a hold of me, excuse me, the number's 417-380-3161. If I don't answer the phone right away, don't worry about it. Just leave me a message, and I'll get back to you.
That's good to know. A lot of times, people are so busy. Our cell phones sometimes control our lives instead of us using it as a tool for our benefit. And that's one of the things that we teach our technicians as well and our installers. When they're out on the job, now, they do carry their phones in case we need to get in contact with them for something, but we know the schedule and where our guys are, so if there's something comes up, they call in between jobs or something and check with the office. If it's an emergency, we will call them, but when our people are at your home, you are the most important thing at that particular time, and they are working for you, and so they don't spend time talking on the phone with stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. So that's how we look at cell phones as well. It's a convenience for people, but mostly it's a convenience for our guys to be able to contact us to find out what the next job is or where they need to go next. So it's good to know that you can do that, because I've been on jobs where half the time the people working out there are on the phone. Mm-hmm. It's like, how are you getting anything done?
Right.
If you're talking on the phone all the time.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And it does. It's aggravating. It's also a safety hazard. And everybody that's out there in business, I pay for workman's comp insurance. Trust me, when you're in the construction end of things, that is not cheap insurance. And the guy's sitting there texting, and he's not paying attention and trips over an airline, then not only do I have a guy out, and now my jobs are going to back up, but my workman's comp's going up. And, it sounds kind of silly, but all those little things, you control those costs, you can keep it affordable. So
that's right.
That's where it is. And, there's plenty of guys looking for work, so that's the choice. You come to work or talk on your cell phone, but you're not going to do both at the same time.
We have another caller holding. We have Glenda. Good morning, Glenda.
Good morning, Mary. Sounds like Dan would be a handyman to have around.
I believe he is.
I was wondering if he charges by the hour or by the job. Maybe he could explain to us.
Okay.
Some of that, his charges.
Yeah, it's just charges. From a personal perspective, I prefer to work by the hour for two reasons. Number one, I think it's actually cheaper for you in the long run. Because if I have to guess, I'm also guessing, okay, when I get in there and then I get behind the wall and what else might be wrong. The thing I always hate in the construction industry, if somebody gives you an estimate of, X amount of money, it's like, well, then there was these other four little things that came up, and pretty soon X amount of money isn't X amount of money anymore. So we just do it, and we can do it by the hour. But I'll give you a bid, and I can put you pretty close. And usually what I'll do is I'll give you a range, and I'll say, this job is going to be, $150 to $200, and I'll be pretty close to it. It's just usually I try to make sure that I'm closer to the 150 than the 200, but things do come up. The other thing that happens, and from my days back around the service and stuff, and I grew up in the military, I call it mission creep, but you go out and you were going to replace a kitchen sink and a faucet for somebody, and you bid the job based on that. But when you get there, it's like, well, I got this other little thing. Could you do that while I'm here? And then pretty soon you got this other little thing. Can you do that while I'm here? And it's just easier if we're just doing it by the hour. It doesn't matter to us if we jump around a little bit and we just jump in and do that. And and I don't know. I always feel bad going, well, I can do that, but that's a little bit extra. So we'll do it whichever way works for you. But what we try to do is, just give you the most value for your money and get in and get the job done as quick as we can.
Okay, do you mind saying what your rate would be?
It depends on how many people I have on the job. If it's just me, it's usually around $35 an hour. If I need another guy, then you're going to be up around $55. It gets a little bit cheaper the more people we have. If we can be there longer, if I've got a day's work, I can work a little bit cheaper because the biggest cost is just getting the equipment to the job site.
I have 2 ceiling fans that need to be installed.
Uh-huh.
And there is not a light fixture in the center of the room.
Okay.
So the holes have to be cut, the wires have to be run.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that type of work?
Yes, ma'am, we sure do.
Okay.
Yep.
And you come and give free estimates?
Yep, we'll come take a look at it, see what's involved. One of the things I like to do with ceiling fans, especially when you're adding ceiling fans where they weren't, I give you the option of running the wire so that you can have a switch in the wall so you can turn the fan on and you can turn the light on and you don't have to do the pull chain thing, because the pull chain thing just drives me nuts. So not a lot more work usually. Depends on, where the light switch and where the wire has to go. But, we can put an extra switch in for you so you can turn either or both on at the same time.
Okay. All right. I have your number. I'll be giving you a call.
Okay. Thanks, Glenda.
We have another caller on the line. We have Donna with us this morning. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great. How are you this morning?
Just fine. We bought this house because it has such a nice view out the back. There's a pasture back there. However, there are many, many windows facing west, and ordinarily I love it. But I'm wondering about this film that you put on a window. Now, they're all thermal pane. And I'm wondering if that would help cut down the heat. It seems like about 4 o'clock it starts really getting warm in this weather. And I'm wondering if that would help any on thermal pane windows.
To put the film over them?
Yes.
Something you might want to consider on that, as opposed to putting the film on the window, they actually make like the old-fashioned roll-up shade. That's the film. And the reason I suggest that to you, one, it gives you a chance to try it. But in the summertime, not having the sun come through would be good because it's heating up in your house. However, in the wintertime, you actually might want that sun to come in because it's going to warm up your house. So if you had a shade you could pull down, you could use it when you wanted it and not use it when you don't want it, but yet you would still have a view.
I see your point. As a matter of fact, I do have shades on most of my windows, and ordinarily it's fine, but this summer is something out of this world. Okay, I'll continue with the shades then, and I have found that the room darkening shades are very, very helpful. I have another question. As far as running the air conditioner, a friend has told me that they run their fan continually, and they feel that it keeps the house cool at less expense than just having it go on as the thermostat would do.
Yes. We do that a lot, Donna. You can put it just keep the fan on. What that does is that continually moves the air and makes you feel more comfortable. You have a more even temperature in your home. You don't have the hot and cold spots like if it's just running by the thermostat. And so that will help you maybe feel cooler and be more comfortable if you just, and it costs very, very little to run that fan all the time. It's a minimal cost. So we do have a lot of clients who prefer to do that. We do that in our home as well sometimes just because it will make you feel more comfortable.
Oh, that's interesting. I've been so undecided about that, and I thought I'd ask someone who's an expert in the field.
Yeah, we have a lot of clients who do that, and I would say go ahead and try it, and you'll know if you're feeling more comfortable or not. But for the most part, you should be more comfortable running the fan continuously than having it shut off and on. Uh-huh.
Thank you. I was worried that it might be bad for the air conditioning system.
Oh, no, not at all. No, ma'am.
All right. Great. Thank you very much for your help.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling today. And we have Jim from Mount Vernon on the line. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. This is basically an air conditioning question. But about 30 years ago, it used to be that if you could get your inside temperature down 20 degrees below outside temperature, that was normal. What is today's?
That is correct. On today's, you could probably do a little bit better than that. It's really kind of based on the humidity factor and how difficult your unit's running to keep the humidity pulled out. We do have people with some newer units out there that in ours at home will do the same thing. We have a high efficiency heat pump actually because we don't have any accessibility to any gas. But with the temperatures as hot as they've been, we can maintain in our home 72, 70 degrees pretty easy. But we have put a lot of insulation in our home. So
okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's something that you would need to look at as well as the insulation factor because if it's well insulated, then of course it's going to be easier to keep it cool. And so that's something that can be done fairly inexpensively.
Something else people might want to consider, especially the older homes, is how many vents do you have on your roof? Because if you're not getting ventilation through that roof, all that heat is up in there and it's trapped and it's looking for some place to go. So the more vents you have on top, and now they make these really cool ridge cap vents and different things, that will make a huge difference to your house. In my house, I actually put a power vent up there. It does two things. One, it's got a thermostat on it, so when the roof gets so hot, it starts pulling air. And then you can buy, as an addition for those, you can get a humidistat, which is kind of nice in the wintertime because if you get humidity up there, you got hot and cold, and now you got condensation and moisture getting down on your insulation and stuff. So, go out and take a look at what power vents can do just to move the air in your attic more.
That's true. And, when it comes to heating and air conditioning, we get a multitude of questions about, especially when it's hot like this, but there are a lot of factors that can affect that. And, and like we're talking, like it's do you have roof vents? Do you have a lot of south or west facing windows? What kind of windows are they? What kind of insulation do you have in your home? And sometimes doing something simple like just adding insulation can make a big difference in the cooling factor of how well your air conditioner is going to work for you. So there's lots of things that we look at when someone has a problem. We don't just go out and look at the unit itself. We oftentimes can check and see, well, maybe, and which is however you want to take it. Sometimes we've talked ourselves out of a sale because they really didn't need a new air conditioner. They just needed more insulation.
Right.
And so we try to help our clients, make the best use of their money and spend it the best they can. If they need a new system, we're more than happy to do that for them. But we do talk to them about other things. And some of the other things that can happen with air conditioning this time of year we're finding is the ductwork. We have a lot of crawl spaces, a lot of ductwork's under the crawl space, and you might have some ductwork that's damaged. You know, as you well know, you can get animals or critters can get under there. You might have some ductwork that's come loose. So if you have loose ductwork somewhere, either in the attic or under the home, you're pulling hot air in, or you're letting your cool air escape out somewhere besides being run through your house. So there's lots of things we can look at for you if you're having some issues with that. If you have any more questions and want to give us a call, our number is 417-831-4036. Or if you have a simple home repair, for instance, we were talking to Mr. Meyer here that owns a radio station, and he had a tile, he said, in his kitchen that had cracked. So he's got one tile that's kind of cracked and wanted to know if Dan could help him with that. And you told him, of course you could.
Yep. We'll just come in, take it out. You know, the hardest part is hopefully he's got a tile left over
that's
from
matching.
that matches. So, you know, I mean, fixing the tile part is the easy part, but trying to find one that matches can be pretty time consuming. So, you know, hopefully he can either has one or he can find one, and we'll come out and pop a new one in for him and regrout it back, and he'll be back up in business.
That reminds me of something. You know, sometimes we had this in our house in Nixa, but we had tile all around our tub, and it would come down, you know, and it meets the top of the tub there and all that. And over time, it doesn't really look good after a while, no matter how much you clean it. And then, you know, sometimes the grout starts coming out and all that. Will you do something like that? Because to me, that would be a horrible project. I would not tackle that to try and take all that grout out and re-grout something like that. Is that something you guys would handle as well?
Well, actually, as technology's evolved, some of the cleaning companies actually do grout cleaning, and there's chemicals and stuff. So instead of taking it all out, you don't have to go to all that bother and all that expense. You know, these guys can come out, they put a solution on there, they clean it up, and it looks like new. They can even re-dye it now and change the color a little bit. So if you had gray and you wanted it to be whiter, you know, they can make changes in the grout that way. One of the other things that's out there, I have a friend that I work with, and he sells a treatment for tile. So if you have all tile on your bathroom floor, for example, his company sells a chemical that etches that tile so that the slip coefficient of that tile, when it's wet, is the same as if it were dry. And so if you
my goodness.
Yeah, it's great, and he comes in and he does that, and you cannot see where he's done it. If he handed you a piece of tile that had the stuff on it, you can't feel which side has been done. But now, you know, and especially like you got little kids, I mean, they're going to splash.
Of course.
They get out and they go running across the thing, but so he can treat the tile. And that's the one thing that's kind of nice is if we don't do it, we know who does do it, and we know who does it well, and sometimes it's better to let the people that do that kind of stuff all the time do it, because that's what they're good at. You know, so I could call Dave and he can do that. I've got other people I can call and say, hey, come do this. We can take care of your grout. One of the things too with tubs especially, what's really nice now, usually there's a huge gob of caulk along the bottom of the tile, and
yes, there is.
Yeah, and that tub, and now they actually make caulk specifically for tubs that actually matches the grout. So you can caulk it and put it back in and clean that up. But that grout or that caulk, that's pretty easy to take out. We'd be glad to come out and do that and clean that out and get rid of the moldy spots. But if you actually got a lot of stains and stuff in the grout itself, rather than digging all that out, it's messy, it's dirty. These other companies, they have the stuff that'll do that, and it stays in place. You don't have the dust from digging that out, and your home will just be a better place.
And I think you get it done a lot quicker.
Right.
If they're just cleaning it instead of doing the other. Well, I didn't know that was available, so that's interesting. I always learn things from all my professionals I have on the show, so I did not know that.
Yep.
And when you have tile, like say you have tile on the floor in your bathroom or on your a tub or something like that, how often do you need to seal the grout in there? is it really important with the new grout? Do you still have to seal it like you did the old grout? And
yeah. You
you
gotta
do have to still seal it.
You bet. And because grout, it's a kind of a form of a concrete. It's porous, and certain tiles are porous. So you not only seal the grout, you seal the tile, because you got your teenage daughter that's got to take the half-hour steamy shower and all that stuff. It's
3 times a day.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a boy that I think was worse. My daughter didn't take near as long a shower as the one boy did. So, but that stuff is there, and they're taking these long hot showers, and it's coming through the tile, and it's getting in behind there, and everybody's conscious of mold, and it gets to going.
Well, we have a couple minutes left in the show, so if you have a quick question, you still have a minute to give us a call. 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. We had a lot of callers today, a lot of good questions, and a lot of interest in what you can do to help people, so that's great. We like to have our listeners give our professionals a call and work with them, so I think you're going to get a few people call you today. I knew that we'd have some people that had just little odd jobs that's difficult to find someone to come and do for them.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we take a lot of pride into is we really try to listen to people and not give you the canned solution for everything. I might have to ask you a lot of questions until I'm sure I understand what it is you really wanted. But we want you to be happy when we walk out of there, and we want to do it your way.
Well, Adam, we have about a minute left. Do you have a quick question for Dan?
Yes, sir. I got a quick question. Hey, do you do vents in bathrooms and stuff?
Do what?
You do those?
Like the power vents?
Like an exhaust vent, yeah.
You bet. Yep.
Okay, now, when you do the electric and running electric, you certified and everything, you get it, it's all done right?
Yep, it'll be all done right. It'll be up to code, and we'll figure out where it's got to be. And we actually vent the exhaust fans to the outside. A lot of guys will just put an exhaust fan in. It empties into your attic, but that moisture needs to get all the way to the outside.
Okay, yeah, I have one now, but I have a toilet room plus the bathroom, and they didn't put one in the bathroom. They just put it in the,
And bathrooms are kind of one of those things. Code-wise, if you have a window in a bathroom, you actually aren't required to put one in, but who's going to open the window in the wintertime to let the steam out? It seems kind of silly, but that's the code.
Thank you very much, Adam. We're out of time, folks. Thanks to everyone who called in today. We hope you have a great weekend, and please come back next week to Home Repairs and Solutions. And thanks for our guests.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was great.